As it is written, the kingdom is within us. Come together and discuss the issues within the kingdom. Speak your peace. Speak the truth. For the kingdom is at hand. Kingdom Conversations.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings to the whole house. Who is the whole house, Brother C? Well, it's not the Episcopalians, it's not the Catholics, it's not nobody that's involved in the 50,000 denominations that's damned to hell. The whole house is only two groups of people. It's the northern and the southern kingdom, also known as the kingdom of the Israelites. Shalom, family. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. And I hope the Father's been keeping you. Hope everything's been great with you. Chop it up with you all about some of the current events that have been happening. Shalom to the family. I don't see anybody in the chat right now. So I'm going to put my shalom up to everybody. Shalom to everybody that's out there that's listening. So I'm just going to put my shalom out there. And prayerfully, we'll have some people come in and listen to what we'll be talking about. So today we're going to be talking about current events. And so current events happen to be some things what's going on the earth. And I'm hoping to get some responses from the people out there to give me some indication on what it is that they would like to talk about. And if you guys don't have anything that you want to talk about specifically, then what I'll do is I'll just ramble on with what I have on the table as far as what I want to talk about, which is whatever that is. So since I don't have anybody to shalom like I normally do in the chat, if you guys come in, you guys greet, and if you want to jump on and chop it up with your big brother C, go ahead and hit the link, and I'll put the link in the chat. You guys can hit the link and jump on and speak your piece. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. Haven't been on in a minute. Well, actually, I was on the weekend with the brother Elias Shah and brother Najid when they were talking about World War III. And if you missed that episode, you may want to jump on and take a look at that episode and see what's going on with it. And there was a lot of good information that came out of that episode. So it would behoove you, brothers and sisters, to get your family to listen to it, because we always bring good information. And there's plenty of good teachings out there to the Israelites on the internet. And so before I jump in and play what I got lined up for the fam, I want to shalom Obadiah. Shalom Obadiah. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you're well. Peace and blessings to you. Light of Dawn. Peace and blessings, sis. Shalom to you. Hope you're well. Good sister Terry Payne. Terry Payne. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. Could you guys do me a favor? It's been a while since I've broadcasted, and could you all put a one up if you can hear me okay? If my audio is good. Sabrina Ernest, peace and blessings, sis. Hope you're well. Hope the Father's been keeping you. Marquia West, peace and blessings, sis. Hope you're well. Hope the Father's been keeping you. If you guys could give me a one and make sure that the sound quality is coming in good, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then also, if you can also greet the rest of the family that's in the chat. You know the rules of KC, even though KC hasn't happened in a few months. Been about 4 or 5 months since we've done a KC. You guys can go ahead and greet each other in the chat room. Everybody, Terry should be greeting Lida Don. Obadiah should be greeting Sabrina Ernest. Sabrina Ernest, you should be greeting Markia West, and so on and so forth. Because when we get into the kingdom, we're going to be greeting everybody as we should. Shalom, Sarita Hebrew. Shalom, sis. Hope you're well, Sarita. Hope all is well with you and that you're at peace and that the Father's keeping you. Father, I ask that you bless these people, the Israelites, us people, our people, my people, and that you give them peace, prosperity, and protection this hour. There's a lot going on, but I want to say thank you for everything that's going on, because everything that's happening is for the Israelites. And we know that, and we understand that to be true. So we thank you that you still love the apple of your eye. We thank you for sending the Ruach. We also appreciate the work of the Son, which is also who we call Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but we thank him for the work that he did, salvific work that he did. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with a video. And this video is just a reminder to you about prayer. Okay? And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not going to spoil the punchline. But I'm going to play this video. I might play this video a couple of times today. Let me see. Chazamak, shalom. Shalom. Peace and blessings to you. Hope all is well. Let me put your name up. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. Chazamak, hopefully I pronounced that right. So I'm going to go ahead and share this video. And then after I share the video, we can chop it up and get started. Let me kill that right quick. And again, it's been a while since I've been in this seat before. So I appreciate you all jumping in. Komar Muhammad, peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. And again, everybody, please greet everybody. And so this is going to be somewhat of a continuation of the last show that we did when we were talking about World War III. There's been new information that's come up. But before we do that, like I was saying, I want to get everybody in the mindset of prayer and how we should be praying and who we should be praying with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cue up this video. And then after I play the video, I'd like to get your all comments on what you think about it. Okay, but I'm going to let it play through, and I'm not going to interrupt it because it's only a couple of minutes. So let me get it queued up. Let me get the window shared, and then we'll listen to it together. Actually, let me stop sharing my screen. Let me do that again. I'm out of practice. Let's see here. Window. There we go. Okay, it says to do something different. Okay, we'll do it that way. We'll do it like this. Okay. Yep. Chrome tab. Yep, that one. Share audio, share. Okay, it's not letting me do it that way. Okay, so I'll just say share window. And let's do that. To share audio, share the tab. Okay, I'm gonna have to share the entire screen. Okay, so all right, fam, let me do some jiggling of my own wires. So I'm gonna have to turn on my other screen and then move some of this stuff off this screen. So just bear with me for a second. It's not technical difficulties. Your brother C is just out of practice with doing this. Okay, so we got that out the way. Let me go to present, and I'm going to say share screen, and then I'm going to select this screen here. Let's see here. Make that large. It takes up the whole screen. Okay, that's cool. And then we'll click on. Let's see here. We'll click on entire screen, click on that, and we'll click on that so we can get the audio. Click share. Okay, so I'm sharing my whole screen right now. It's going to take a second to come up. Okay, there we go. We got the whole screen up. And so again, this is about prayer and who to pray with and whose prayers appear to be good money and bad money. Here's the video.
Barricades were to keep hostile whites out, the protesters in. One group, led by Jimmy Webb, broke free of the barricades. They were stopped by Clark's men.
I do follow you, and I'm not going to follow you and use your bird for protection. And I'm telling you, for your own benefit, you had better turn around and get out of this area. You're not going to the courthouse in a group on the condition that you come here, and I'll assure you that. All we would like to do, sir, is to go to the courthouse is closed. There's no business there. We don't want to go in the courthouse. All we want to do is go to the lawn of the courthouse, kneel in prayer, and we'll gladly return. You take your prayers back to your church. That's a proper place to pray. So I'm sure that God will hear your prayer just as well down there as it will up here, but you're not going on this courthouse wrong. So whenever there are men who are in sinful conditions, prayer should be uttered wherever they are. Why don't you pray where you are? Go back down there and pray. You think you're lily white? You think you're not sinful, huh? Well, then go back to your church and pray. Well, sir, can we pray together, you and I? You do your praying. I do mine, big boy. You don't pray for me. I don't want you to pray for me. Well, will you pray for us? Because I don't think your prayers get above your head. Well, will you pray for us? No, I'm not going to pray for you. I'll tend to my business, you tend to yours. Now, you got to move these people out of here. Sir, I'm trying to protect you, sir. Sir, I don't have to love anybody I don't want to love. Sir, you do your own love. You love your little niggas. I love who I please. Do you believe in equal justice for all? I believe in justice. Do you believe in equal? I don't believe in equal nothing. There's no two people in this world alike. And they're not equal on any terms or conditions. There's no two peas in the world alike. No two pieces of money and nothing else. And so are you saying that if I have a quarter and I'm black and you have a quarter and you white, then my quarter isn't as worth as much as your quarter? That's your quarter. My quarter is worth? I'll decide what my quarter is worth. You use yours and I'll use mine. Why you a catfish sandwich and yours? I have nothing else to say. What's the deal, man? You keep it in this small group on the turning walk, going back to the group. The rest of the group's down there waiting on you. We have your protection. We'll do everything we can. Just go on back down there. You didn't have it coming up here.
Plans for the march to Montgomery remained at a standstill pending a federal court decision.
All right, so y'all heard that video, and if y'all could put some comments up as far as what your thoughts on what you saw, I would appreciate it, because that will give us a chance to actually dialogue about it. In my opinion, though, the white sheriff was telling the truth, but he was telling the truth from perspective of this is what Christianity believes about you, and this is what Christianity believes about your prayer. Because of your condition, and because you were enslaved, and because they were over you, and because they gave you stained glass, white Jesus, Christian Bale, because of that, they were ruling over you. And because of that, your prayers could have never been answered, past, present, or future. So now, how is that different than any time today? Do you believe that Greg Laurie, even TD Snakes, Creflo Dollar, Joyce Myers, what's that one? Joel Osteen, the Lizard? Do you think any of those, Kenneth Hagee, Kenneth Copeland, Tim LaHaye, Benny Hinn? The only time these entities are going to smile at you because they see you as liquid money, they see you as a gullible Negro, and they want to get every money out, every nickel out of your pocket. It's like they would enjoy fleecing you, turning you upside down and shaking you down and taking all your money out your pocket. Trigger warning. Sabrina Ernest says trigger warning. Well, Sabrina, guess what? I thought it was rather funny, actually. Especially the funny part was when the other one jumped in and said, yeah, you could take that quarter, your quarter, and go buy you a catfish sandwich with it, knowing that we're not supposed to eat an abomination, but that's a different conversation altogether. But to me, the whole part of it was entertaining. Now, here's the great thing, though. The great thing is that the Father does hear our prayers. Matter of fact, you could pray for something right now specifically, and the Father will definitely do what he feel is good for you according to his will, not necessarily according to yours, but according to his. And so I know that our prayers get through because I can say for me personally that with this Iran Israel thing, well, that's one of my prayers that both of Psalms 83, both of them can part of Psalms 83 destroy themselves, which is what they're on the verge of doing, by the way, but we can get into that too. But that's just proof that our prayers do get through. Let's see what the brother says here. And fam, your feedback is most important. I was impressed with the brother's discipline and self-control. Actually, yeah, he did exude a ton of self-control in that conversation, because most people, when they heard what these heathens had to say, would have probably wanted to get violent. But at the same time, with these entities, they probably would have mowed everybody down because they had hammers and those other people did not. So it wouldn't have been a fair confrontation. But the brother did have ultimate peace when he was speaking. And that's the kind of peace that we should have this hour. We should not. Matter of fact, if you are at peace right now, I'm asking everybody to in the chat, and shalom to everybody that has joined in late. Patricia Thomas, peace and blessings to you. Caprice out of Judah, peace and blessings to you. Hope you're well. Tangela Hardy, peace and blessings, sis. Hope you're well. Helen Fall Around Me, peace and blessings to you, sis. Hope you are well. So let's see here. Tangela Hardy brings out Joshua 1:1. I don't have my precept book up right now. I'm going to have to get my Bible up. And so, fam, the brother says shalom to everybody in the chat. Wind Walker, shalom, peace and blessings to you. So you guys heard that video, and I'll be probably playing it again later on today, because I want you all to remember that the heathen now wants to come together with you. They want to be, because they see that their construct is crumbling right before their very eyes. So what do they want? They want to now, and you'll notice when you look at the videos, all of their talking points and everything that they're saying currently is the same thing that we've been saying since we've been here. And so when you hear them talk, you should be able to relate to them only from a perspective that, hey, that sounds familiar. That sounds like how we've been talking. So I don't really care about your pain, heathen or pagan. I don't really care about what you're going through, because when we were going through what we were going through, nobody stepped up to the plate on our behalf, and not including John Brown, because John Brown was a mythical figure. Harriet Tubman was not. John Brown was mythical. Harriet Tubman was real. And so right now, they want you to pray, to come together and pray for them, which is a great contrast between what that heathen, what that sheriff was talking about. And to this day, some of them, but they're awakened. They're waking up, because you know why I say they're waking up? They're using all of your talking points now when it talks about the book, how the book is viewed. I saw one today where one woman was talking about Psalms 83, in that Psalms 83 are the nations that surround Israel right now. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to bring that video to the family, because I don't want them to get mad and be triggered. But you will notice that all of these churches and all of these synagogues of Hashatan and all of these dens of iniquity, these so-called churches, these white sepulchres that within there's nothing, no good in them, the 50,000 damnable doctrines, the Vatican, and all of these other religions. You notice how they are using your talking points now. The stuff that the Israelites have been saying on the streets, the stuff that the Israelites have been saying in their so-called churches, have been things that now the heathen has said, hey, you know what? I need to listen to what these Israelites, these book people are saying, but I'm not going to give them any credit, but I'm going to listen to them, and then I'm going to use them talking points to attempt to explain what's happening and what's going on. Meanwhile, you'd have to ask yourself, what are the heathens looking for at this moment? What do you think they're looking for at this moment? Matter of fact, I'm asking that to the people in the chat right now, my family in the chat. Peace and blessings to you, Shan. Hope you're well. Let's see what the comment from Windwalker. Windwalker says, we would have Hill Babylon. It's too late. That's right. Somebody in the book. That's in Revelation somewhere. John the Revelator recorded that. Said, Babylon, we would have healed you. Okay, so I did ask a question. And Young Star 3, I love that name. He must be a young star. To me is a young person that all of our youngsters are young star. So Young Star 3 said the rapture. That's absolutely correct. They waiting and looking for the rapture. Why is they waiting and looking for the rapture? Because they want to be taken up out of here so they can run from their wickedness. I got a video that I'm glad you said that. I got a video queued up about Greg Laurie talking about the rapture, and I'm not going to play all of it. I'm going to play just a little bit of snippet of it because you're absolutely correct. They're looking for the rapture. Obadiah says they're looking to escape judgment. That's absolutely correct. Why would you want to leave planet Earth and go to be with your Jesus? Y'all do know they have a different God than our Father. Put a 1 up if you understand that. I'm gonna put my 1 up first. Hopefully I'll beat all of y'all. I need to beat all of y'all. I do. That needs to happen. I'm putting my 1 up first. Hopefully my 1 get there first. Yep, it got there first. Put a 1 up if you know that they worship another entity. They don't have the same entity that we talk to. They don't have the same entity that we've been praying to. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing else until I see 1s up from everybody in the chat. Shalom to you, y'all's child, Shan. I see y'all. We are Judah. Shalom to you. I need to see them 1s up in the chat. Because they've been pawning off this stained glass, these hippies, the Charleston Heston. They tried to give him a Jerry curl and comb it back a little bit so he could have some texture to his hair. Go back and look at Moses when he was riding in that chariot. Had his hair kind of slicked back. Y'all remember them Jerry curl? Y'all ain't been saved, and y'all need to get saved. Well, who is saved? Who is getting saved for? Only for the book people anyway. Let's read what this comment says. Their descendants of people from the Cop are now waking up to the horrible things that their granddad, great-grandpa, great-grandpappy, and mammy have did. They are the ones trying to speak up and recognize us as Yah's people. Well, let them recognize it then. Let them do exactly what the Father put them here to do. Main thing that they were here to do is be a thorn in your side, Israel. The United States Snakes of America was designed and built to be a whipping post, the final whipping post for the Israelites and nobody else. So I see all them 1s that y'all put up, and I appreciate the feedback from y'all. And if I didn't shalom y'all, I'll bring you up when I see you. Shalom, Cedric Lewis. We are Judah. Shalom. Tangela Hardy. If I didn't catch you earlier, shalom. If I miss you, y'all, you charge it to my head, not my heart. But I normally greet all of y'all when you first come in. So there's there's more than one entity that's being served on the earth, that's being worshiped on the earth right now. Christianity and Catholicism, which Christianity is an offshoot of Catholicism, does not worship the creator of heaven and earth that spoke everything into existence that we have a record of in Genesis 1:1. Christianity does not have the same entity, and I call our Father entity. The Christianity does not worship the same Father that is ours. It's two different manner of entities. Our Father is not their Father. Their Father is not our Father. So you don't be running around here, and I've said it before, you could go dig up KC's. I've said it before, those people are not my brother. Those people, the heathens and the pagans, are not my family. Is it okay for me to operate like that? Absolutely. Why? Because I'm just operating in truth. I'm not trying to lift them people up. If they want to cleave, then let them. If the Father puts in their spirit to cleave and to learn from sit their monkey behind down and learn from the Israelites, because I'll ask this question too. Who are the only people on the earth that can decode the book? I don't want no number. I want you to tell me who they are. Tell me who the people are that can decode the Bible and tell you what it says and rightfully divide it. And I'm not talking about Craig Laurie. I'm not talking about TD Snakes. You can get rightfully division on YouTube, but you can only get it from one group of people. And who might that be? It's only one group of people I know that can decode it. And his name is not Joel Osteen. Matter of fact, you got wannabe Israelites, and I don't know if they're Israelites or not. TD Snakes, I don't know if that effeminate is an Israelite. He could be a Hamite. Creflo Dollar could be a Hamite as well. I don't know these men like that. But if you're telling people that it's okay to be against what the Father says in his book, his law, and you teaching against that, you, sir, you, ma'am, are a liar, and the truth has never been in you. Y'all need to tell me who the people on this earth right now, standing right now before you, after you, near you, in your house, online, not online, at the grocery store, walking down the street, at your job. Who are the people that can rightfully divide this book that we talk about? Y'all need to tell me. I'm going to put your answers up when I see it. Let's see. Obadiah says the Israelites. Let's see. Sabrina says they worship hell's. Yeah, they worship stained glass. And if y'all see a stained glass, y'all bust it out and you win a reward. If you see a piece of stained glass, go ahead and bust it out. It's okay for you to bust it out. It's okay. Let's see. We got the Israelites. We got Yasharallah. We got us. We got the Bantus. Okay. We got Judah. Let's see. Somebody says those filled with the Holy Spirit who have studies and self-approved. Okay. Well, Bible English. You know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm going to say, that's the wrong answer, because the only people that's gonna have the Spirit is the Israelites. So you're partially true, but I seen your comments before, and I'm not going to tolerate you that much before I send you exit stage left. And I'm going to leave you like that. Because right now I have no tolerance for foolishness. I have no tolerance for the heathen coming in trying to tell me something, nor do I have any tolerance for Christians. Matter of fact, Bible English, do me a favor. Since you are so brilliant and smart and eloquent in your speech, do me a favor. Name me one Christian that's in the book that you call the Bible. Name me one. Give me their name, rank, and serial number, and then show me in the Bible where I can find them. Okay? Do that for me, please, while you're thinking about that. If you could do that, I might let you stay on. If you can't do that, I am going to send you to Hades. Exit stage left. That's Hades. Okay? You don't know any. Okay, great. So Bible English, are you a Christian? If you could get in here and sit down and learn from the Israelites, cool. Shalom, sis. Wise Society, how you doing?
Shalom. I see I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, you coming. Well, you know how I do. I don't have an off switch. I just go.
Hey, you can't hear it everywhere. A good thing you can hear it on KC. So I'm glad to be here. How's everyone doing?
Hey, y'all good. Go ahead and greet the fam, sis. Go ahead and greet everybody.
Shalom, family. I hope you're all well. I know it's been a while, and I'm just glad to see you all and active in the chat, and glad I came in at the right time.
Indeed. You didn't see the video that I put up, right?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Romy, shalom, brother. How you been, man? I hope all is well with you. So, sis, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's see here. Eyes open, indefied. You know what? Brother can't read anymore. I apologize for that. Peace and blessings, sis. Sam loves Apostle Paul and the father of Christianity. Well, Apostle Paul never called himself a Christian, so that's not true. That's incorrect. The Apostle Paul never called himself that. Matter of fact, that term came in at Antioch. Apostle Paul had already left the scene. The book says, and somebody bring that precept, so I believe it's in Acts. The book says they were first called that byword Christian in Antioch. So if they were first called that in Antioch, Paul was gone when Antioch was on the scene. That was years, decades after Paul had crossed over. So that's incorrect. That's not true. Somebody give me the name, rank, and serial number of a Christian. You cannot find it. I'm breaking the punchline right now. I'm breaking my own code. There, you cannot find a Christian in the Bible because he don't exist. So if a Christian don't exist, which was a byword, a bad word that they call the people who followed Mashiach, then that means that the whole line of that whole phrase, you're a Christian and Christianity is from the pit of hell. Point blank. Point blank. There's no such thing as no Christian, because your religion, you nor your religion cannot be found in that book. Sis, I'm gonna go ahead and play that video again. Look, but before I do that, I'm gonna see what the
Didn't Paul say he was a Hebrew of Hebrews, circumcised on the 8th day?
He didn't say nothing about no Christianity.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that Pauline doctrine was from Catholicism. From my last time checking,
It's 100% from Catholicism. And then here's the crazy thing though. They try to separate themselves from Catholicism when the church fathers were all Catholics themselves, which is odd and weird as far as I'm concerned. But I digress. Let's see some of the comments. Wasn't they were first called the way? You know what? What they were and what they always been and what you are Israelites. That's the only moniker that they carry. You know, and Sam loves. We've vindicated Paul on this channel. I could find the send us an email and I'll show you the videos. We got a number of videos where we vindicate Paul. Paul has never told you not to follow the law of Mashiach, because we know that Mashiach is the law. Here's where Christianity misses it. Christianity says don't do the law, but Mashiach is the law. But then they say they follow Mashiach, but then he said he was the way, the truth, and the light. And the book says in the beginning was the Word, but the Word was made flesh. The man also said he came in the full volume of the book, and the book that he was talking about was the what you call the New Testament. Well, we call it the Torah. He said he came in the full volume of that. Every time Paul taught, Paul only taught out the of the law, the Psalms, and the prophets. You go back and look at everything that man said. He taught out of that book. So yes, I trust Paul. I trust him all the way. Paul is good money. Paul is better money than your brother C, and he's also better money than anybody who walked the earth after he crossed over. He was in touching distance of all of this. So I'm not gonna throw my ancestor Paul under the bus. He came with that. Paul came with the count. Paul didn't need brother C's vindication, because he rocked out the way that the Israelites rocked out. Go and read Paul's writings. Now, here's what happens with Paul though. What happens with Paul, you get a person or an entity like someone who wants to be accepted, Joel Osteen, and then you wrap yourself around the scriptures thinking that it means something, and it don't mean none of what you're talking about, because you cannot rightfully divide it.
You know, one of my favorite verses, 1 Corinthians 4:21. What do you want? Shall I come to you with a rod, or in love and a spirit of gentleness? That's one of my favorite verses, right? And so, you know, the Roman Catholic Church and all the other people that believe that they should be in the place to intervene and intercede, and you talk to them about confession, will try to, you know, add things in to make it seem like they canonized him as a saint, right? So we got to be careful with how things are stated about Paul. And I realized that a while ago. I mean, it just didn't make sense, you know, like at the end of it, people start to question, was he confused? Well, absolutely not. We know that translations, or what they call transliterations, are incorrect.
Exactly. So we done played, that's a good word, sis, I appreciate that. We've played a couple of videos already. I think we only played one video, right? We haven't gotten to that Greg Laurie dude, but you all said that the evangelicals want, well, they've got a couple of things that they want. We'll name them. One is the rapture. They're looking to escape judgment. Great comments. I appreciate everybody. they bought into this. How many of you are familiar with the red heifer? Put a one up if you're familiar with that false doctrine. Because then I'm gonna ask you another question. Y'all familiar with the red heifer? The red heifer being slain, and Israel so-called gonna build the third temple. Put a one up if you're familiar with that. If you're not familiar with it, then I recommend that you Google it. Is it Greg Locke? One of these heathens, and he's an effeminate, so I wouldn't spend my time listening to him. But at the same time, so I see the ones up. So you guys are all familiar with it. So they're looking for, Christianity is looking for the third temple. They're looking for the rapture. Here's one thing that they're looking for, though. They want Iran to get bombed off the earth. And they state that. I'm going to throw a video up, and it's going to be quick because I'm going to speed it up. Typically when I come on, I have a whole lot of media that I have queued up. Most of the times I won't get through it all, but I want you guys to see these heathens and what they're looking for. And this is one of the heathen pastors, which I look at these things and I look at them as entertainment. And I'll be sitting in the office or wherever I'm at, and I'll be cracking up. But let's take a look at this, because they want Iran to be blown off the map. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's what the Father's will is for Iran, and they're part of Psalms 83, surely that will happen. But let's take a look and see what this entity says about that. Let me get this queued up. Y'all forgive me. Y'all know I'm slow with it, but that's okay. I need to get saved. I never said I was saved, so y'all don't accuse me of that. Let me get that screen and turn the audio on and share the audio's on. And I'm gonna share it. Okay, so y'all should be able to see my screen. Okay, great. Y'all take a listen to this, and then I'm not gonna play all of it. I want y'all to hear some of this stuff.
Facts. Here's the response from John Hagee.
Exactly. Did you see last night that you want to share with the people this morning?
Prophetically, we are on the verge of the Gog-Magog war that Ezekiel.
Gog and Magog from the Bible. We're on the verge of the Gog and Magog war.
Described in chapters 38 and 39. This attack by Iran, who launched more than 200 missiles yesterday, is a tribute to the weak and pathetic leadership of Joe Biden.
It's a tribute to Netanyahu fucking asking for it by attacking Iran first.
I assure you, if Ronald Reagan was president, we wouldn't be in this mess.
But wait, don't you want us to be in this mess? Because like you said, this is ushering in the Gog and Magog thing from the Bible, which is leading to end times and the apocalypse when Jesus comes back. Do you want it or do you not want it? Do you want it or do you not want it?
Iran attacked Israel one day after our president looked into the face of the camera and said, don't. Don't you know they just laid on the ground and trembled with fear? They were loading the launch pad right then.
This guy looks like a human blobfish. He looks like Jabba the Hutt.
The Democrats are trying to advise Israel to de-escalate, which is music to the ears of Hamas and Iran. We don't need to de-escalate. Hamas started a war murdering Jewish people. Hamas needs to be wiped out, period.
Did you guys know everything started on October 7th? There was nothing that happened before then which led to that.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, because that's really the general consensus of the heathen. They believe that they are impugned and immune to not only judgment, but they also believe that they have a right to do any and everything that they want. None of these people were jumping out the window when Israel was giving it to Gaza. Nobody was jumping out the window. And mind you, I don't have a dog in that fight, but I'm using that illustration to show the hypocrisy between the West and the Western construct. And then now you have these entities talking about someone is a terrorist or someone is evil. Christianity and Christians, the KKK, the Vatican, Roma, None of those people have ever looked into the mirror until the Israelites figured out who they were and start holding up the mirror in front of their face, telling them, you a liar. We the people of the book. And not only are we the people of the book, everything that you've been teaching on the earth is false religion. It's been false. Go ahead, sis. You back in if you got something to add to that.
Well, I see that there's a comment in the chat about the rapture, meaning rape, literally, right? And how they're not going to get raptured out of it. I find it very interesting how they claim to be so godly, and they're worshiping their false deities, right? So they're mimicking the behavior of their Roman Greco gods. And then having that value set, doing all the wickedness they done did across this earth, and thinking they're going to escape judgment, right? Like, that is what we call supremacy at its height. Like, you believe in your mind that you can go all throughout the earth doing all this wickedness, call it good. Woe to those that call good evil and evil good, but that's who they are. And then escape any form of consequence.
Okay, so that's a great segue to this next video. It's an awesome segue. Before I segue though, I want to put up a couple of comments. That's a great segue into the video. Darren Stewart, the fact that they rejected the Messiah that has already come shows that they are not the people of the Father. Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9 testifies that. All praise to the Father. Bible English says strong delusion. That's right. That's what's happening. I can't pronounce your name, but shalom to you. Peace and blessings to you. Let's see, hallelujah, and all praise to the Most High Yah. We are not related to the, no. We are not related to them. Matter of fact, I'm on record as saying, I don't believe that they're human. I do not believe that they're human. I believe that there's no connection there was never no connection between us and them. And if you got somebody calling one of these entities their brother, they better be getting some shekels out of them. We're only doing that for pretend. Otherwise, there's no way on this earth that my brothers and sisters are the people in the chat. And that's it. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Filipinos, they haven't done nothing to me, although they might be part of Psalms 83. But to those who injure my people, yes, the Father's going to destroy you. Hallelujah, Selah, so be it. Point blank.
Yeah, they're definitely made in the image and likeness of their father Hasatan, and the less of their father they will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and there was no truth in him because there is no truth in him. So I think once we recognize there's no truth in these people,
none,
right? None.
Never was.
Stop,
I want you.
Like,
No, go ahead, finish up, sis. And
I think sometimes it's like. I see people like hanging on the words that they say, whether it's through their pulpits or the media or whatever, waiting for a bit of truth, and we should expect absolutely none. Everything that they say is from their native language of lying.
Yep, that's their tongue. They
right.
are lying. They got a lying tongue, and that's all that it does. And you make that's a great point. Remember that point, because when I run some other videos, it's going to speak to exactly what you're saying. But this video right here speaks to the point that you just made about the rapture, and what these people and what the chat has spoken about as far as what they're expecting. When I asked that question, the chat was on it. They was like, these people looking for a rapture. They're looking for an escape hatch. That the Father that gave them an escape hatch, you done did all manner of evil and wickedry on the earth. Done slaved the Israelites, put them in bondage, got them in bondage to this day, and now you want an escape hatch. and how they mishandle the book when it talks about what they say is the rapture is totally ridiculous. But let's listen to a few seconds of Greg Laurie. We're not going to listen to him long, fam. We're just going to listen to a few seconds. I want you guys to pay. I'm going to play it at normal speed too. Go ahead and listen to this. Listen to this dude.
By the way, it's the closest it's ever been to midnight. They literally have it set at this 90 seconds till midnight. And there was a quote by a woman named Rachel Bronson, president of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, who said, quote, Russia's thinly veiled threats to use nuclear weapons remind the world that escalation of the conflict by accident, intention, or calculation is a terrible risk. The possibilities that this conflict can spin out of anyone's control remains high. So we talk about the end of the world. Now, when we use that phrase, we're not saying that the world will cease to exist, but we're saying that this present age of wickedness, under the control of Satan, who is described as the God of this world, that will come to an end.
Okay, that's all I wanted to play right there of that. Did you guys catch what he said? Did you guys catch that? I'll play it again. It's critical. It's a critical point that he made.
We're not saying that the world will cease to exist, but we're saying that this present age of wickedness, under the control of Satan, who is
Okay, so this present age of wickedness, who's been in charge and in control? Under your father, Hashatan. You see how they got, how they have the ability to forget about all the wickedry and devilment that they've done on the earth, conquered the whole earth and running the earth, and they're number one, and white beauty is the standard of beauty, and white pride and white evangelicals and white Christianity, and let's save the whites in the Ukraine. Let's put those Hamites that are in the Ukraine. Let's kill them. White Germany, white France, white Spain. The leaders of the free world.
They forgot when they were whitewashing the paintings to do the hands and the feet on some of them. You see, that's how silly they are. If you look at, I just, it's interesting. I see somebody said the heathen is really scared right now. Absolutely, because they see their population diminishing, right? And so whenever you see your people dying off and you don't have the population growth to meet the replacement rate, you're on the mode of genetic survival, right? Which is animalistic. But what's different about them? And they talk about all this stuff from the perspective of their pulpit, but what they're doing is political or military grade propaganda from their pulpit. None of us would be able to even sit there and listen to a whole 10 minutes without getting upset or uncomfortable, because they're not talking about the true and living Most High. They're talking about their gods again. And in order for them to make any sense out of what they're saying, they have to go out and try to make it happen, right? That's what they call prophecy. We're going to tell you guys what's up next. And at the same time, we have actors in the world trying to or attempting to make these things happen so that we can say, see, told you, but it never fully manifests.
Because it can't manifest. They can, okay, so a classic example of that is the 1948 Balfour Declaration. The richest people on the globe at the time that we know of, okay, I'm putting that disclaimer out there, because there are some ones that are probably even richer than them that's probably really pulling the strings, but that's a different conversation. But the Rothschilds, they created this entity that you see on the scene now called Israel. They created that setup. I've been putting up the family's comments. And I've been putting them up because you guys have been blazing. I'm just now catching up with you guys. And so please forgive me. I'm gonna read a couple of them, then we're gonna get back to it. Psalms 147, 19 and 20 from the KJV. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Who's Jacob? Put a 7 up if you know who Jacob is. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Now, Jacob must be who? Jacob, he's talking about Jacob's lineage. He's talking about those 12 sons that Jacob had. And then the children that came out of that, the men and the women. Okay? I'm not going to never leave my sisters out of nothing. Point blank. So when it says he showeth his word unto Jacob, he's talking about the whole house of the Israelites that's on the earth right now. his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. That means that he only showed them to this nation of people. Only the Israelites was given the book. That means that only the Israelites can decode it. This book is in our DNA, whether we want to accept it or not. Why is it that we, if you look at us as a people, we're the most spiritual people on the earth? Why is it that when we sing our songs, cut you like a Swiss blade knife? Have you boo-hooing and hooing when you hear it, when it come on? Have you getting filled with the Ruach when they come on? Nobody can pray like the Israelites. Nobody can talk about the book like the Israelites. Why? Because of Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He ain't been dealing with you. Book say he had not dealt so with any other nation, which means that all of these lying, talking about you a pastor, if you're not an Israelite, you need to sit down because you a liar. The Father, when you have all these people talking about, oh yeah, the Father's talking to me, the Father's talking to me. No, he not. He never was talking to you. Show me that. When it said right here, he have not dealt so with no nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known them. You haven't known them yet. You don't even know what he's doing. You have no clue. So when it comes to rightfully dividing, we're the only people on the earth that can rightfully divide. Point blank. Let's see here. Facts are, we are not cursed. Never was and never could have been. They gave you that bastardized 9-page slave Bible, but told you, you better not learn how to read, nigger, and you better not try to incorporate this part into your life. Knowing those people who were the slave owners, which most, well, some of those was the fews. For those of you who don't know what a few is on Kingdom Conversations of Saudi Earth, a few is a fake Jew. And them fews, they knew who our people was. That's why they had the nerve to give you the slave Bible, talk about, okay, nigger, you can have these 9 pages, but don't try to learn how to read and don't read nothing else. You go back to that man who was saying his prayers. Sis, I'm gonna play that video again for your account. If I can find it, I'll find it, dig it up and play it. So now
I'm sure it's gonna be triggering. I might have missed it for a reason.
You know what? One of your sisters in the chat did say it was triggering.
Oh, see, I believe you, sis. I believe you, sis.
Exactly that. Oh man. So we gonna keep on playing. So fam, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do a couple of things. Hit the like button and then share this with your family, because with me, I'm not gonna pull any punches. I never have and never will. Let me see here. Let's get back into it. Why did they ask Joe Biden to tell Iraq? Oh, I got that. Win Walker. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. I got a video queued up exactly for that. I'm going in order because I got a script, and like I said, I will pull like a lot of videos and I'll distill it down to just a handful, and then even from there, I'll distill that down to the handful. I got a couple of questions for y'all though, and I want you guys to put a 1 up if the answer is yes, and a 2 up if the answer is no. Is the United States or Israel omnipotent? If they are, put a 1 up for yes and put a 2 up for no. If you believe that the United States is omnipotent, put a 1 up for yes and a 2 for no. Why, society? I don't know how you beat me. I guess because I'm answering the question. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 up.
Well, I have a wrench, so I have to watch the chat too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you are wrenched up. So I'm saying, y'all, everybody that's listening, it's a bunch of y'all in there listening. I need to see 2s. Somebody put a 7.
I see you, Phantom Warrior. Hey, I got to give a shout out to Phantom Warrior. He gets saved more than anybody in the chat.
Warrior in the chat right now. Where he at? I'll put him up there.
Warrior.
All the time. Shalom, Phantom Warrior. How you doing, man? Troublemaker. I see you from time to time on other people's chats. I see most of other people's chats. Okay, so I see all the 2s in. So I got another question. I'll put this together too, like I did the last question. Can the U.S. and Israel be defeated, or are they invincible? Put a 1 up if you say yes, they can be defeated. Put a 2 up if no, they cannot. The U.S. and Israel, can they be defeated? 1 is yes, 2 is no. Sister Tanisha put up a bunch of 1s. The elitist said 2, they cannot be defeated. Kazmak said 2, they cannot be defeated. It may be for the other question. So far, we got somebody that threw up a bunch of 1s. Blessings to you, says several 1s. Hey, Vet Rivera, peace and blessings, sis. Hope you're well. Cindy Clark, shalom, sis. How you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Hope you're well. Let's see. Abigail Abayah, peace and blessings to you. Hope you're well. If I see you guys and I haven't seen you in a minute, I'll definitely throw you up. No, I got no problem with that. So I see a bunch of 1s. Now, since you are saying that Israel can be defeated, I'm going to put up some videos that suggest that that is highly possible and highly likely. Now, these videos are coming from people who have been in the intel world. Like you have Larry Johnson and you have Scott Ritter. These individuals have been in the intel world. Scott Ritter, I think, was with the IRGC, the ones that would inspect Israel's nuclear plants to make sure that they aren't using or creating nuclear weapons. But I'm going to put this first video up from Larry Johnson. This is the dude that's he's not bringing the video. I think he's a guest on someone's show. But I'm going to put his video up. We're going to listen to a little bit of his video, because here's what's happening, fam. What you're hearing in the media is not what really happened. The media is great for practicing sorcery and witchcraft over your mind. The media will spin it and say, hey, we shot down 99% of the 303 missiles and drones that came over. We shot down 303 of them, which equals 99%. We did that. And so in everyone's mind, that 99%, well, everybody going to be thinking, hey, you know what? They shot down 99%. That Iron Dome thing must be sliced bread. It must be the greatest thing ever, right? But what you have to do is you have to look for other sources. And the sources are out there. Now, what they will do is they won't put the other sources up. You haven't heard not one thing got damaged. And yet that liar, John Hagee, said they fired 200 missiles. No, they did not fire 200 missiles. He's a liar. But his church or his people that follow him, because they follow him, they don't follow Mashiach. They definitely don't have nothing to do with the Father. They was doing this. Yay, John. Yeah, you're right. They fired 200 missiles, and we're going to get them. We're going to blow them off the map, right? Okay, we'll see about that. Anyway,
do people understand how much our news gets censored?
No.
Right. I think it's important to say that, right? Because
no.
when you see other like world news from another perspective, another country, or sometimes you see it in a different language and you're reading the captions, you start to realize how much they censor. And it takes a lot of work for them to censor the internet and the media in the way that they do to keep information from us, and then go out and sit here and talk about freedom of speech over and over again when they know that's just an illusion, right? And so I think that it's important to talk about how much we are not allowed to even click on or look at or even consume when it comes to media.
That is 1000% correct. And we have to, anytime we say anything, we have to be careful. I was on Lisa's Cabrera channel, and I said something about I spelled Negroes. I spelled it K-N-E-E-G-R-O-W. And I said dumb Negroes because they were talking about Boule. And I called them dumb Negroes because they are dumb. Because they could be doing a lot of good for their people. And they don't want to do good for their people. And anyway, they sent me a comment. A comment came, popped right up and said, hey, if your comments is viewed as hate speech, If you don't click OK and if you do that again, we're gonna ban you and we're gonna remove your channel. I'm like, what I do? So anyway, that goes to what you're saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we're getting better at what we're doing. I'll just say that the family is getting good at what we're doing in terms of ingesting information. But what we're doing, I'll talk about what we're doing the best in a few seconds. We're going to listen to this guy talk about what really happened over there, right? So let's listen to Larry Johnson for a minute and read the title. Larry Johnson reveals Iran's strategic punch forced us to back down in Israel's dilemma. Let's listen to this dude.
Is so each Patriot, each of their Iron Dome has 3 to 4 launchers. So each travels at 900 miles an hour. This situation, the Iranians launched some drones, more than 100 drones, 150, and then they would launch cruise missiles. Now the cruise missiles travel faster than the drone, so you can add, subtract, divide, and you can calculate time that, if a drone's traveling at 150 miles an hour and a cruise missile travels at 400 miles an hour and a ballistic missile travels at 900 miles an hour, when do you need to fire the drones, the cruise missiles, and the ballistic missiles so they all arrive at the same time or within minutes of each other? Holy smokes, that's a swarm. And what that did to Israel is, so each Patriot, each of their Iron Dome has 3 to 4 launchers. So each launcher can fire up to 20 missiles. Well, right away, you're assuming that maybe you want to target at least 2 missiles per incoming target. So if you got 100, 150 drones coming in, that means you're firing 300 missiles, and those things are expensive, at least $100,000 a piece. All of a sudden, they estimate Israel in launching counterstrikes against Iran may have spent over $1.3 billion, money that it just doesn't have. This attack by Iran was smart, very smart. Because one, they made sure they hit military targets primarily, and they hit a air base in the Negev Desert, and another military installation up north towards Lebanon and Syria, the Golan Heights. They were not killing civilians. They left the cities of Tel Aviv and Jaffa and Haifa and Jerusalem untouched. So they were sending a message to Israel, because they showed Israel that we can overwhelm your air defenses with just a small fraction of what we're launching. And my understanding is the ballistic missiles they launched were their older style. They didn't go with their latest, greatest, most technologically advanced stuff. They shut off some old stuff, but it penetrated. And I think the goal was to make Israel now think twice. Say, okay, you have been, Israel, you've been poking us, Iran, in the chest for over 14 years. You've been assassinating our scientists. You've been backing terrorist attacks inside Iran. You've been assassinating the Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders. So now we're telling you stop. And they did so by hitting these targets, and carried with it the reminder that if you do this, if you retaliate, we're going to hit you harder. Now, Israel is trying to play the victim in all this. Oh, we were hit by terrorist Iran. Oh, hey, they've been attacking Iran for years, getting away with it. And this attack the other day, on April 1st, on the, I guess, the embassy annex of Iran in Damascus, was an act of war. Number one, it was a violation of the Vienna Convention, 1961. Number two, and Iran sought UN Security Council action to punish Israel for this. United States, UK, France, oh, no, it's not a problem. Yeah, Iran was asking for it. It's okay to blow up their embassy. So Iran smartly said, okay, under Article 51 of the UN Charter, we can defend ourselves, and by God, we're going to do so. And they made sure that they communicated that to other people in the region. That's why a lot of people started to get our diplomats out, pull out of here, and they carried it off. They did enough damage to let Israel know, if you come back at us, if you don't get the message and stop, we can destroy you.
Brother C, can you hear me? Can't hear you. Might be trying to fix the screen. I see the screen and we see your mouse moving, but we cannot hear you. Can anybody hear me? Okay. So let's give him a minute to
Give him a minute to turn his mic on. Old man, turn your mic on.
and you might want to fix your screen
Hey.
too.
Turn your mic on. Actually, I got my screen like that for a decent reason, because I got
Okay.
all these docs I got open. And so,
Okay.
fam, okay, so you heard what the man said. Now, there weren't 200 missiles like that liar Hagee said, but what's important was what the media doesn't tell you is that there was two bases hit. Now, the one base that was hit is the base that sent the F-35s out to hit that hit the Iranian consulate in Syria. Now, that base was targeted. That base was hit. You don't hear nothing on the news about that, do you? Nothing. Why is that? Because the media wants your mind to believe that, okay, that 99%, well, they shot down 99%. Their God must be with them. Okay, now keep this in mind. I'm going to frame this for you before I show you this video. That base that was hit is one of the most protected places on the planet. It has Iron Dome and other backup defense mechanisms outside of just Iron Dome. And now you're going to see what actually happened to that base on this video.
That most missiles were shot down and damage was minor. Iran hit military targets, so we won't see the damage. Remember what Nasrallah said a few weeks ago: if Hezbollah didn't film its successful operations, no one would believe them. And here's what you said. You said eye for an eye. Iran struck Nevatim Air Base target. So here, are we allowed to show this? Let's see. Let's see. So here's all the. So there's all the missiles coming in, right? So they're trying to overwhelm
Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome, right? And now Israel said they got 99% of the missiles they knocked down, but as this video is going to show in a second here, a couple of them got through, at least a couple. So come on, this is taking forever, for F's sake. Oh, here we go. So they all look, it got through. And and there's another one got through. Here comes another one. Boom, here comes another one. So looks like there's a little rust in that Iron Dome is what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't need to show you that. So here's Ali Bumana says that here's why you shouldn't believe Israel's claim that most missiles were shot down.
Air base, home of Israel's F-35
impact were intercepted. Percentages don't matter. Is that true? So you're saying, so tell me what exactly Iran did and how they were so successful.
Well, let's start with the Nevatim Air Base, home of Israel's F-35I, their modified F-35 fighters. These are the fighters that bombed the Iranian consulate in Damascus in violation of international law. But it's home to more than that. It's home to America's ANTPY-2 X-band radar, the most sophisticated anti-ballistic missile defense radar in the world. We have it there. This is the radar designed to detect Iranian missile launches from Iran. It's tied into our satellite network that monitors Iran continuously, any launch, any activity. The point I'm trying to make is that we have given Israel perfect ability to monitor Iran's missiles. Israel can't be taken by surprise. Anything Iran does, Israel will know. This surveillance technology is linked to the most sophisticated anti-ballistic missile defenses in the world. The Arrow 2, the Arrow 3, David Sling. These are all U.S.-Israeli projects. The improved Patriot, the THAAD missile system, which is an American-only missile system. We've deployed all these around Nevatim. My point is, Nevatim is the most heavily secured spot on the planet. The most heavily secured spot on the planet when it comes to anti-ballistic missile defense. There's no place on earth more heavily defended than Nevatim. And Iran launched, we now have updates, 7 missiles against Nevatim. 5 of them hit their target. The most heavily defended spot in the world, right there, everything, the best. Nobody has better equipment than what's there. Iran launched 7 missiles against that base. 5 of them hit their target. That means that Israel is defenseless. It means America is defenseless. It means if Iran wanted to have saturated that base with missiles, they would have destroyed everything. Iran was simply making a point. They didn't want to destroy the base. They wanted to prove to Israel that we can touch you anytime we want to.
That was Scott Ritter making those points about how vulnerable all of those bases were. Our people are over there, how vulnerable they really truly are. And so for the questions that I was asking earlier, let me get my mouse over there. Let me stop sharing. So for the questions that I was asking earlier, now you have an understanding on why I was asking you those questions. The U.S. is not invincible. The U.S. is not. The U.S. and Israel can be defeated. They can be. I got another video now. I believe Windwalker, you said, hey, what about if all of that is true? And Windwalker, you weren't saying that. If all of this is true, wouldn't somebody be asking somebody, hey, I don't want you to do this to us. So why don't you let's fake something. Let's fake like something happened for the media. And then after we fake it, then we can say, okay, we got back at y'all, right? Did that happen somewhere? Yeah, I got a video that talks about, hey, can we do a symbolic strike? Iran, can we do a symbolic strike on you? And then after we do that symbolic strike, we'll be good money, okay? Why would you ask that if you wasn't vulnerable? See, the media is still playing with your mind. They're still playing with you. Check out this. I found this video, and these people are talking, and they got access to the article, and they show the article. But check this out. You got these people asking, hey, can you take one for the team and say that we'll do the symbolic strike on y'all, and then we'll dismiss all of this that's going on. Now, if you were invincible, if you were like the God on the earth that you claim to be, then this would not be in your vocabulary. Check out this video right quick. We're not going to play it all. Watch this video, and then they're going to put the article up. Report, U.S. asked Iran to allow a symbolic strike from Israel with these 2 people. Listen to this.
Of an Israeli response after Iran has been very clear that they retaliated and they have concluded their retaliation.
Several points. Just one I should mention, because we just had an exclusive today at the Cradle. from a Iranian military
Exclusive. U.S. makes failed bid for Iran to allow symbolic strike by Israel.
security official who said that they have been approached via intermediaries by the United States asking Iran to allow a face-saving strike by the Israelis on Iran, and the request was, of course, outright rejected, says our source. But interestingly, the message was delivered directly to the Swiss envoy in Tehran by officials from the IRGC and not the foreign ministry.
How come you don't see that on the news? How come you don't see that on the news? Is that part of their brainwashing? Is that part of their witchcraft that they want to have on your mind? That you see this y'all know fake wrestling, WWE, WCW, and all that fakeness that be going on, fake wrestling, WWF. They want to do a WWF move. Hey, let's pretend like we struck y'all, and then y'all say, okay, we'll call it quits, and then we won't do nothing else. Are y'all serious right now? Are United States, are you serious? Israel, you bought off on that. Is you serious? Face saving. Yeah, they not only are they trying to control the narrative, they're trying to get out of this mess. Because I don't know how many times Israel is smaller than, or how many times Iran is bigger than Israel, but Iran is not a joke. Iran is not so-called Palestine.
Yeah, you know, but when you're the one, when you're in control of cartography, meaning the making of maps, you tend to be able to create that illusion, right? And like I said, nothing that they profess to be able to do can happen without them trying to work hard to carry it out. That's what they consider as prophecy, right? And it's interesting when you look at the fact that who all of their so-called credible experts and witnesses are, right? Haven't you caught that before? It's like, these are your credible experts and witnesses, and they all seem to look the same.
Huh.
Right?
Because they all got the same narrative. And to your point, all media before the internet, all media was funneled through AP. So you only really had one source of media, and you had all these television channels. It's no wonder why people don't F with TV like how they used to. That's no wonder.
Right there, television, right? Telling you the vision. So, I mean, Pharaoh has sorcerers too, right? So we know this, and they're part of that sorcery team. So if you could consider it a committee, that the mass media, Western media, is Pharaoh's sorcery committee.
Yep.
That's what they do all day. You know, that's just what they do. And so what should our response be, right? Definitely I don't spend time arguing and chat with people about what they want to believe. If they want to be under a strong delusion and they want to sink on the Titanic and ask another song to play, I mean, you know, it's only so far you can pull somebody out.
That's because that's what happened on the Titanic. They said, keep playing them good songs.
Keep playing the music. Hey, play that funky music, white boy. That's what they singing, right? And so that's basically the song that they're asking to be played, knowing that look, I got people laughing. So listen, I just want to know, like, what should our response be, Brother C? When we see this stuff and it's just going on and on and on, and they're saying, play that funky music, white boy, over and over again, and it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating. What should our response look like?
Okay, so for me personally, I look at stuff like that and this, and I have to look at what the book says about what should be going on and see how our people have decoded it. And then once I've done that, I'm not looking for their validation, nor am I looking for them to bring any truth. So I mostly look at them for entertainment. And that's really it. And so my personal response would be laughter, because your musicians and your physicians of no value and your sorcerers don't work anymore. And not only do they not work anymore, but they have no power over me. As a matter of fact, they don't even get me mad. I am going to show you that video since you asked what would be
But I
my
think
response.
too, it's great. It's bigger than that, because it's exactly what you're doing right now, right? Just as much as they put this information out, everybody in here has a channel. All 167 people, 169. I just seen the numbers change, right? How are you using your platform to inundate the with the truth, right?
Algorithm with the truth,
right? Right, and so they can't censor and block everybody. So if we are constantly, our response is to respond with the truth every time, how are we using our personal platforms and channels to do that, is what I'm saying. And I think that that's what you're showing that you're doing right now. But if we all have this information going out, whatever it may be, it might not be about this warfare and this military grade propaganda that they are using against American people to try to trick them back into oppression, but it may be about something else, right? I think it's important that we do that to redeem the time, knowing the days are evil. What does our Occupy look like? So that's the question that I'm asking and posing mostly to the chat, of how they overcome when this kind of stuff is going out.
You should do me a favor, type it up, and then I'll put it on the screen. So fam, this is being asked to everyone. How are you actually occupying? Now, I will say this to the Israelites' credit and to most people in the chat right now. One of the ways that I see them occupying or kind of spreading the message is when they're on other people's videos and they're making comments. I try to read most comments in all videos I watch. Now, some have thousands. Okay, I can read most of them, but on all the videos that I've shown, I will look at what people are commenting on, because I like to understand the minds of men and women just to know how they're thinking and how they're moving. And so she brings up a good point, and it's something that y'all know I always hit y'all with. What are you doing to redeem the time? Because it's good that you're here. It's good that we fellowship, and I love fellowshipping with y'all when I have the energy and I have the time. However, individually, and I'm going to say this, before the eclipse came, you should have already been redeeming the time. After the eclipse passed, you should be redeeming the time 10x. You should have multiplied that.
We should be taking over something. This is what I'm talking about. I put the question in the chat. Ultimately, what I'm asking is, how are you taking over? They don't got it, right? We know that. We know that they don't. We know that they're liars. We know that they're deceivers. We know that they're under a strong delusion, and that's them. We know that they're, worshiping and idolizing false deities and Roman Greco ideologies and fantasies and imaginations and all that other crazy stuff, right? Pharaoh's gonna send the sorcerers out. So what do? That's what I'm asking, right? How are we taking over? Ultimately, is my question.
And really, on top of that, how are you taking over what the Father gave you to take over? Because that's a two-part question, but it's the same question nonetheless. But I like how our family does when they in these comments section. And our family will be throwing out the truth with precepts, with good sound doctrine, and good biblical scholarship and knowledge. That's one thing that our people have gotten great at. I don't need to debate you, but what I will do is I'll give you precepts, and you won't be able to stand against them, because that's not the words of Brother C. That's the words from the Father that he inspired. And so everybody should be thinking about, but like I said, you had a disposition before the eclipse, and you believe that the eclipse was something, and you trust and believe that the Father put those luminaries up there for a reason. You should be ablaze for the Father to do his will. And what is the Father's will? The Father's will is what he put in you to do on this earth this hour. We are not here by accident, fam. Somebody put it in the chat. I thought I put it up, but it's a
And this
blessing
is
for us to
warfare,
be
right?
here.
It's not a spectator sport, right?
It's
This is warfare. It's not a spectator sport, right? And so as we see our enemies turning against each other, we definitely should be taking over as much as we can.
Exactly. And that taking over and that taking over again is take over what the Father put in you to take over. Your lane is not my lane. I know the instructions I've been given, and I understand my mission 100%. It took me a lot of years to get there, but I'm giving you some information that you can use to help yourself and to help yourself in doing the Father's will. The Father put something in you that you love because he is love. And so what he put in you that you love, you're supposed to be bringing that forth to the earth and to our people so that you can take that thing over. There's a vacuum that's right before your eyes right now. This earth is not going to be like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. No, it is not. Don't let the magicians and the false prophets and the astrologers and the evangelicals make you think that it's going to be that way when it's not going to be that way. Yeah, they're gonna get their tailbone whooped, and where they're at is going to be smashed wide open. But it's we have a different story that we're going to be able to tell. Because we could be sitting right next to them and they get hit by a bolt of lightning and nothing happened to us. So the time that we all should be on is on takeover time. Y'all done heard me talk about that from time. You listen to any KC, y'all know that's where my heart is at. My heart is with y'all, but it's also with you doing what it is that you should be doing this hour. And if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. And so if you haven't been doing it, start doing it today. I can't tell you what that is because I don't know what the Father put in you. But you know what it is. Each and everybody in the chat know exactly what the Father put in to do. And so knowing that, and the sister she's a battle axe in and of herself, knowing that we're at war. Our grandparents were at war, and they didn't know how to tell us we were at war. Our great-grandparents were at war. Our great-great-great-parents were at war. Imagine the Civil War time. And the North hates you. They want to kill you. And the South hates you. They want to kill you. And you're in the middle of that. Imagine that.
Right. I
Imagine
think I had mentioned that, like, as if Moshe's, at the Red Sea, Pharaoh's army is behind him. And then the Red Sea gets parted and he realizes there's another army on the other side. That's the time that we're in right now, right? There is a army and a battle waiting to happen or happening on all sides. And so you don't want to be confused about what it is that you should be doing in this moment. Because last time I checked, if you are hanging on the fence in the middle of a battlefield, you're probably going to become collateral damage. Right. So I think it's important, like that. And I'm right there with you, brother. See, that's why we get to do this and have this talk with the family. And I see like all of these answers and they're all great, right? Somebody might be in a chat sharing the truth, counteracting false narratives, and someone else that may have had an idea but didn't see clearly might see that, and it might spark them to look into research more, right? So it's important, like everything. I don't think anything is too small or too big, but I just wanted to ask that question to refocus us around our talents, gifts, and abilities and what the Father gave us to do in this moment. Because like you said, we are not here by happenstance. We're in this era with the battle on all sides in the way that it's being, happening for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I wanna the sister here with this comment. This is a fantastic comment. The best I can do right now is to teach my teenage boys the truth to prepare them for this fallen world.
absolutely.
You're spot on with that. And then also, what I would add to that, if I may, sis, is that you teach them that they're going to be be the ones to turn the world over and take it from its fallen state to its greatest state under the umbrella of Mashiach. They'll be able to do that. Because
Absolutely.
we definitely need to be teaching our youngsters, and it's a blessing that you're doing that. Because my parents didn't teach me, and my father knew who we were.
Mm-hmm.
My father knew who we were because he told one of my siblings before he went to the other side. A few years probably before he went to the other side. He said to one of my siblings, "You know we the people of that book, right?"
Right.
Okay, so
And
if I
for
look at
whatever
what you're
reason, all of that, their era was shrouded in secrecy, right? I believe that they know exactly who we were, but they didn't tell us very much, right? And so now that we have access to all of this information, definitely teaching our children, but then also making sure that they're fit for warfare, because the war is already upon them.
Sister, eyes open, edify.
Mhm.
I would submit to you, sister, that have the young stars tap into what it is that they love doing, and continue to cultivate those things that they love doing, because the Father put that love in them of those things, and so they should be able to tap into those things so that it be prosperous and profitable for not only them but for you as well. Okay, but all praises to the Father for that commentary from the sister, and all praises to the Father for the comments that I see in the channel. Y'all been rocking out with the old head, and I really appreciate y'all. I do have some more videos that I want to put up, and one more area that I do want to go into, and that's the mind game that they play on us. The mind game that they play on us is, and that's right, sis, for the kingdom. Because the kingdom is the kingdom. Okay, so the kingdom is within you. That's what the book says. Okay, the kingdom is within you. So you're bringing out that which the Father placed in you, and you're bringing that to the kingdom so that the kingdom can benefit from it. And so if there's an Israelite benefiting, could be your family benefiting from what your teenage sons bring to bear, that's a wonderful thing, because ultimately that will be for the benefit of, especially if they know who they are and they're operating in spirit and in truth, and they have the Ruach rocking out with them and they're filled with the Ruach. Well, of course, their prime objective would be, which is my prime objective, the Israelites. My prime objective has never been Christianity. And I come from a line of pastors and preachers. It's never been that. And it's interesting how I never had a desire to do that. Never once had a desire to do that.
Do you understand how frightening it is to the powers that be to know that we are educating our own children and not handing them over to their system of misinformation, disinformation, and all of the above? Right? They are not able to impress upon a whole entire generation of those who said, I'm not going to send my child to my enemy so that they can miseducate them. They don't even know what we're teaching them in our homes. That's a weapon in and of itself. And that's frightening to the system and the so-called powers that be, right? So I want to commend those who are doing that, but then also, I don't want for people that haven't had the ability or haven't been able to find the way to do it to feel shame, because the Father knows how to protect the children, and we're praying that he does. But yeah, it's a huge threat to them.
Yeah, that's a major threat, because now you have children that, and a lot of children that have been homeschooled since COVID, but you have a group of individuals that haven't been indoctrinated. There's a famous pastor out there. I won't name his name because he's going through it right now, but he calls it the public fool system, and I've been using that ever since. So if you go to public fool, you become a fool. However, once you have these individuals homeschooling their children, then they're operating outside of the paradox. And so they're able to, that you're also giving them a leg up when you do that. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about mind control. The mind control that has been played upon you is definitely played upon you through these major media outlets. You have to have a spirit of discernment when you're watching these live vision stations, whether they be on YouTube or whether they be on regular live vision, because they have a slanted narrative. Now, I'm going to ask this question, and put a 1 up yes and put a 2 up no. Is the media slanted towards Israel, the nation? Put a 1 up if you think yes, and a 2 up if you think no. I'll ask the question again. Is the media slanted towards the Israel nation, or the nation of Israel, as it is called? And I'm gonna let you guys think about that for a second while I look for my the window that I'm on. Okay, if you believe that the media is slanted, put a 1 up. If you don't believe that the media is slanted to the Israelis, it's funny, they got their name, they call themselves the Israelis, but it's L-I-S, Israelites, Israeliers. If you believe that the media is slanted, put a 1 up. If you don't believe it, put a 2 up. Okay. Reason why I ask that is that the way that they spin the media, it's an affront, and it should almost make you angry, but you all should be mature enough that it doesn't make you angry. You should be mature enough that you can look at it and actually laugh at it. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this article, how the New York Times was running game on people's minds. Now, mind you that because we're so awoke right now, and I use that term awaken, I'll use that. Because we're awakened right now, we can see through the BS. But the common man has issues with being able to see through the BS. The common man is at a disadvantage. Now, we've got a built-in sense that y'all know what that is. No, I'm not accepting. I'm not rocking with that. That don't make my spirit. That don't rock right with my spirit. Let's take a listen to this video and see how the New York Times has been using sorcery against you. We're talking now about slantedness or bias in the media, and how they're biased or how they slant things to a pro-Israel slant. And this video is titled New York Times leaks expose pro-Israel bias. I'm going to speed it up a little bit for the sake of time, right? We'll go to 125. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Upheaval since October 7th over their coverage of Israel's war in Gaza. But now it has emerged that the paper has instructed journalists to restrict the use of the terms genocide and ethnic cleansing, and to avoid the phrase occupied territory when describing Palestinian land. Not only that, they have told journalists not to use the word Palestine except in very rare cases. This story is coming from The Intercept, who obtained a copy of the internal memo, which was first distributed to New York Times journalists in November. The memo also outlines that reporters shouldn't use the term refugee camps to describe areas of Gaza where displaced Palestinians are now being located after being expelled from other parts of Palestine during previous Israeli-Arab wars. The Intercept say this. The memo, written by Times Standards editor Susan Westling, international editor Philip Pan, and their deputies, quote, offers guidance about some terms and other issues we have grappled with since the start of the conflict in October. While the document is presented as an outline for maintaining objective journalistic principles in reporting on the Gaza war, several times staffers told The Intercept that some of its contents show evidence of the paper's deference to Israeli narratives. One New York Times newsroom source who requested anonymity said this to The Intercept about the memo. I think it's the kind of thing that looks professional and logical if you have no knowledge of the historical context of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. But if you do know, it will be clear how apologetic it is to Israel. On the memo's direction of the term occupied territories, it says this: when possible, avoid the term and be specific, e.g. Gaza, the West Bank, etc., as each has a slightly different status. So here they're referring to the fact that Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem are all considered to be occupied Palestinian territories in the eyes of the UN and most of the world. In relation to the term occupied territories being discouraged, an NYT staffer said this: you are basically taking the occupation out of the coverage, which is the actual core of the conflict. It's like, oh, let's not say occupation because it might make it look like we're justifying a terrorist attack. The memo also includes some advice about how to describe a one-sided war that's seen the number killed on one side grow to nearly 30 times more than those killed on the other. Quote, the nature of the conflict has led to inflammatory language and incendiary accusations on all sides. We should be very cautious about using such language, even in quotations. Our goal is to provide clear, accurate information, and heated language can often obscure rather than clarify the fact. Words like slaughter, massacre, and carnage often convey more emotion than information. Think hard before using them in our own voice.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. I think I've shown enough of that. So fam, if one believes that these entities do not control, and these entities being the Zionists, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, okay? Because they like to say that they're in control, but then when you say, well, yeah, you're in control, and you say, yeah, these people control the media, then they'll say, oh, no, we don't. That's an anti-Semitic trope. Okay, so if you have sway over an entity like the New York Times, then that means that you have a lot of sway, you have a lot of pull. So you just saw right there. Now, if a common man is reading the New York Times and that's all the media that they ingest, guess what they're going to think? They're going to think that, oh, Israel's innocent and the other side is guilty as hell because they provoked Israel and they were doing things to Israel. So if Israel bombs them, and Israel being a white nation, it's okay because the New York Times told me that it was so. So there's inherent bias with these media outlets, definitely inherent biases. Now, this dovetails into a broader conversation. Are there biases within, or connections, I would say, within organizations like app developers, software developers, what do we call that? Browser makers, Google, for instance. Does Google have a relationship with the Israelis that we don't know about? Do they? It's a good question, brother. See, does Google have a relationship? And that's a question for the chat. Does Google have relationships with Israel that we don't know about? Maybe we do know about them. Is that even possible? How come Google doesn't have a relationship with Salt of the Earth Productions? Well, they do. They allow you to have a channel, so that's enough for you, nigger. Someone said they do.
I mean, aren't they both owned by Alphabet Inc?
Yeah, Alphabet owns them both. That's correct.
Them and YouTube, right?
Yep, Alphabet owns them both. Okay, so I'm gonna put up, and I'm going somewhere with this one because this one's going to light somebody's hair on fire. I'm going to go to Google, and we're going to look at what Google is up to. Okay. But before I do that, I'm going to I'm going to go to this video. We're going to look at this video first. I believe this is it. Let me get it queued up, fam. Please forgive me. Y'all know I'm not saved, and I'm an old head that's forgotten how to use technology. Okay, so take a look at what's happening at Google, and they're firing people because of this. But let's take a look at that, and then we're going to take a look at something else that's fantastic about Google. All right, And I want to get everybody's opinion on it. Okay. We'll put that up and then we're going to take it back down. Yeah, we got that set. So let's take a look at this video right quick. This will be real quick. It won't be long. It won't be any longer than the other ones. It'll actually be pretty short. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so Google's employees protest company's ties with the Israeli government. Let's listen to this.
Now, Google employees have staged sit-ins to protest against the tech giant's business with the Israeli government. Protesters rallied in the company's offices in New York and California. Google and rival tech firm Amazon reportedly signed a $1.2 billion contract with the Israeli government back in 2021. The Project Nimbus deal is set to provide cloud computing infrastructure and services to the Israeli government.
Not only is the lack of transparency concerning, but just the context of which the contract is being taken place. And we know that the genocide in Gaza is is the first AI-powered genocide. So we find that big tech is at the forefront of kind of like streamlining this genocide against Palestinians.
So let's bring in Ramesh Srinivasan. He's a professor at the UCLA Department of Information Studies. He joins us live from Los Angeles. Ramesh, good to have you with us. So tell us briefly, what exactly is Project Nimbus and why is the project so controversial that even Google employees, as we just saw there, are now protesting about how it's being used with the Israelis as the war in Gaza continues?
Yeah, so Project Nimbus is a contract that Google and to a lesser extent Amazon Web Services signs with the Israeli government for $1.2 billion back in 2021. And as the person who was interviewed in your story indicated, there's actually a shocking lack of transparency around exactly what this project covers outside of providing interoperable, comprehensive cloud computing, which is essentially systems of data storage, data management, and sharing data for the Israeli government, which of course is likely to extend to the Israeli Defense Forces. So it's a project that it's a project that marks and sort of highlights.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Okay, so Google is in bed with the Fuse as well on an AI level. But did you pick up on what they said they were using the AI for? They said that they use the AI for military means. Now, I want to ask this question. Did you guys catch the name of the project? Did you catch the name of that project? Hopefully you did. They called the name of this project, Project Nimbus. Okay, that was the name of the project. Okay, so what I want the fam to get in the habit of is when you hear something, go look it up. See what they're talking about. What does that mean? So you should be asking yourself, well, what is a Nimbus? Or better yet, who is a Nimbus? And I did exactly that. I think I did that for the fam. So I'm going to put that up and we're going to take a look at it together. Because these people notice that this is for in AI. Okay. Okay, so see now they're playing games. This is crazy. When I Googled this, okay, here we go. Now I found it. Okay. When I Googled this before, that didn't come up. Something different came up. But let's look at what a Nimbus is. Because a Nimbus, first time I heard that was on, what's that? The Jetsons. The Jetsons talked about some entity called Nimbus and Scatter Zoom and this, that, and the third. Y'all know I know cartoons, right? So one of the things I know the 3 C's: cartoon, cereal, and chocolate. Candy, not candy, but not chocolate, but candy. Right? Those are the only things I know about. I don't know nothing about the book. I don't know nothing about being saved. I don't know nothing about being an Israelite. I only know 3 things: candy, cereal, and cartoons. 2 of them I don't consume. I don't consume candy much anymore, and I don't consume cereal because that's not good for you. Hey, shalom, peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings. Hope all is well with you, B. Isaiah. And peace and blessings to everybody that has come into the chat, that have joined the loudmouth mean C, whatever they call me on the streets. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we're gonna look at the definition of Nimbus. Okay, we're gonna do that together. Let me move this screen out the way though before I do that. I got about 10 more minutes with the fam. So let me get my screen right. Let's get the entire screen. Let's get that. Okay. I'm going to share this. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see the screen. Okay, so let's look at the definition of Nimbus. And this is the name of the Google's project. Nimbus is, number 1A, a luminous vapor, cloud, or atmosphere about or around a god or goddess when on earth. B, a cloud or atmosphere as romance about a person or thing. 2, an indication such as a circle or radiant light or glory about the head of a drawn or sculptured divinity, saint, or sovereign. Did y'all catch that? Hopefully you did. Because what they're saying is that this Nimbus is an entity. And it's a godlike entity. It's a godlike AI entity. And they spent 1.2 billion on this godlike Nimbus entity. They telling you in the open that this is a thing. And the so-called fews are using this thing to destroy people. That's basically what I got out. What did y'all get out of that? Go ahead, sis, rock out.
So I was actually putting a book, or and it's a Google book, so it's interesting that it's on there for free. You can look at it and maybe look at some of the pages, but it all goes back to the same entities, right? And that's what people have to be able to connect on. That's that wickedness in high places that we need to be asking the Father to depose the wickedness in high places, because they are, of course, saying that they're doing one thing and then doing the other. And the thing that I find interesting about it all is that you have like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and all of these people that are arguing over other people's intelligence or other people, what they're putting out, but then are using and suing over AI, right? It almost feels like political theater. I don't know if it feels like that to you, but it just seems like them constructing a web of distraction that feels like political theater. Are you on the same side or not?
To me, the reason why they want to, and they really don't want you to have access to the AI. And the reason I believe that they don't want you to have access to the AI is they don't want the Israelites to have access to the AI and to be able to utilize it, because it levels the playing field.
But then they control it, right?
To a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I said, what side are they on? I mean, the Rockefellers funded both sides of the wars. It's like, what hand are they actually playing? Because you see them on one end making this argument about access to AI and the AI platforms, and then on the other hand, creating things that are connected to it.
And to me, that's a form of Hegelian dialectic,
right?
Where you're basically playing both sides, and then you fund both sides, and then after the war is over, you tell both sides to pay you.
Right. Exactly.
This is no different than that. Now, where I line up on the whole way, and I'll be straight with everyone here. Where I wind up on the AI spectrum is that I love it. Why do you love it? Because it allows me to do the menial task at a breakneck pace that I wasn't able to do before. And it does the task of, my brother Eliashar coined the phrase, it does all the grunt work for you, so you don't have to think about it. Now, you have to, let's go back and talk about the, just real briefly, because it's almost time for us to sign off. The strike in Hollywood wasn't necessarily about them getting more pay, the writers and whatnot getting more pay. It was about the advent that you no longer need these people because the AI is going to do the work of these people. And then as the sister said, what they would do is, okay, let's bring up copyright and let's bring up issues with people's materials getting taken when there's no way that you can really see if someone's material's been taken or not, to be honest with you, unless you're writing scripts that's taking whole chapters away and whole exact lines, exactly how they're written. Other than that, it's really going to be hard for somebody to prove that you've taken that. And that's part of the reason, another part of the reason why they stopped the database at 1921. The AI database can only talk to 1921 and backwards. They stopped it on purpose. So Israelites, if you have a chance to get with the AI, I recommend that you definitely get with that, because your brother C definitely is. Every chance that he gets. Why? Because that thing, if you utilize it and you know what you're doing, it will definitely level the playing field. That's why they'll vilify it and say, oh, it's this, that. Oh, it's evil. Oh. And then at the same time,
sometimes I think they vilify it because they understand that people's nature is to want what they can't have. Like the Garden of Eve effect.
Or maybe you can create what you thought you wanted that you couldn't have.
Right. It just seems very convenient, right? Like these conveniently started wars and arguments. When at the end of the day, you see them sitting together, shaking hands and playing golf and doing all kind of other stuff. And it's like, weren't you guys just enemies over this thing right here?
Yep. And my fam in the fam in the chat is on it. They way up on top of it. I'm telling you, you could use that AI to do a lot of good for your family. I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to be giving nothing away. So sis, I'm about ready to sign off. We had 2 hours. We've been on for 2 hours. I'll send that video to you via email. All right.
Yeah, because I think I came in and I missed the whole segment. And so I was like, what did I miss? But when I came in, it was already going down. So I was like, okay, let me just observe.
We was already in action, and the family came out. I didn't even really get a chance to greet the family like how I normally do, because I thought they probably said, well, Brother C not never coming back on again. So, and then with a lot of them, when they probably saw me on, it was like, okay, let me jump in. But yeah, no, I started off with that video because I want us to remember that who we need to be praying for. And we need to be praying for the homeless, the widow. We need to be definitely praying for our children.
Yes.
Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. We still pray for them.
Yes.
And pray for all. And also pray for, just lift up Israelites. If you see Israelites, just lift them up, because we need the reassurance. There's a lot of Israelites that don't have the assurance that we have. We have the assurance because we've awakened to who we are, and we follow that book verbatim. If I ever say something that's not from the book, y'all say, hey man, Salt of the Earth, y'all get that Brother C off, because he's not about this book, and he's definitely not about his people. Okay. So sis, I'm gonna let you have the last say, and then we're gonna go ahead and sign off. And I'm not gonna promise y'all that I'm gonna come on next week, because these things take a lot out of me. I'm pretty up in age. I think I say that to y'all, but
sharing the truth. Hey, sharing the truth makes you spiritually tired, because you in a space in I would call it this white ethno state. Y'all know I like to use that term. In the white ethno state, we over here sharing the truth, and we know that their spirits are opposed to ours, right? So that's tiring.
Indeed. Sis, I'm gonna give you the last go ahead, and then we're gonna sign off. Go ahead and say what you have to say to the family.
So I'm just glad to see you all active and live in the chat. You know, I came in ready to have the discussion and ready to greet everyone too. But, you know, some of y'all was only 30 minutes in, already about to get kicked out, knowing that you can't come over here and do that. So, you know, it's just...
Well, but you know what? Though, here go the brother or sister. I'm not sure if you're a brother or sister, but the brother or sister is good, buddy. I apologize for that Bible English for coming at you like that early. And so the next time I'll greet you appropriately. I think I did greet you appropriately, but this is the brother or sister that came in, and they didn't have no ill intent. They did not have any ill intent. That's just your brother C jumping out the window.
Brother C,
that's all that was.
I came in and all I heard was, I will kick you out of here. And I'm saying, we already anyway.
No.
But that's part of the joy. That's part of the joy of being in this space, right? Because even though things can be misunderstood, we always bring it back around. And so that's what I'm gonna leave you guys with, is that no matter what's happening in your life, just continue to be overcomers, right? That's been on my heart. Just what are we doing to overcome? And I'm not talking about the song "We Shall Overcome," because if any of y'all know me, I'm not sitting back and just singing songs and twiddling my thumbs, right? But I really, truly want to reiterate what the book of Revelation reiterates into those who overcome. And I think it's important for us to correctly see that in this space, that every day we'll probably be hit with stuff. I've been watching just how many people are dying, right? Of all ages, right? I had a colleague that was at Sandra Crouch's funeral today. And, you know, I've seen children dying more too than I've ever seen. And so we're in unprecedented times, but the Father already put us here with a plan, with a talent or more than one to utilize. And we need to be redeeming the time, for the days are evil, but we know what's going to come. And so I'm just thankful for you all. I pray nothing but blessings on you all. And I hope that the rest of your week just goes well.
And this has been another Salt of the Earth production. Hey. Hey, y'all already know what it is. I ain't changed when I tell y'all that y'all need to get saved. All y'all Israelites ain't saved, so y'all should just go get saved.